All right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome back, welcome in. Found us once again. Shoot the Gap, the generational fantasy football show spanning the generation gap of the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I am so excited that we finally have our 30s here to represent. We haven't had them here in the past couple of weeks. I'm sure that you ladies were really upset and jonesing for some doc action, really wanting that doc. So let me go ahead and introduce them. Well, first of all, I'm Brian, the Amigo Baldwin, your humble MC. And it's my pleasure to introduce Ethan, the Doc Marshall. Ethan, glad you're back, brother. We missed you.
Yes, it's been a whirlwind the last couple of weeks. So
Good one, a good one.
yes, continuing to be a whirlwind, but I was able to link up with everyone for this weekend. So
Nice, nice, nice.
Very nice.
And on my other guy here to join, I would love to introduce Maverick.
That's one way of putting it. It's a good way.
Connor, the gut mark. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. So that's the name. I like it. I like the shooting from the hip. I definitely approve of that method.
Oh, Maverick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it really makes you the Top Gun.
Hey, man. All I know is that you had a mission and you set out to complete it, even if it seemed impossible.
Woo! Oh, look at you. Ethan, your turn. You want to join, or are we moving on here?
yeah, I've been watching too many movies about Scientology. I'm not making Tom Cruise jokes right now.
Yeah, that's the wrong direction. All right. All right, cool. All right. Well, this is our 49th show, guys. 49th. But it's our first in February. It's February 6th in this hopeful year of our Lord. And Connor, talk about what we're going to be doing today, my brother.
Well, today we're going to be getting into some different subjects. Honestly, one of my favorite segments that I'm looking forward to is one that we get to do now that the doc is back. Arsenal anal cysts. It's one of my favorite subjects we do.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. You sound very smart, and you definitely don't sound ignorant at all.
I wrote a book. I would know how to pronounce anal cysts.
I wrote a book. That's awesome. But you know what? Hey, you broached it. Let's talk about it, dude. Talk about your book real quick. Yeah. Other than being a maverick, Connor's also an author, man. Talk about your book real quick, my brother.
Yeah. Well, the book, it goes into the anal cysts of the pre and post NFL life, but no, it talks about a guy named Alvin Jackson who was a college athlete, and it shows you how it's sometimes hard for college athletes to find a way in the world after the sports career, especially if they injure themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I went ahead, and where's it available?
It's available exclusively on Amazon through Kindle.
Yeah, man, I've already got my copy. I'm glad I did. Go out and get it. Make sure and do that. Yeah, it's a great read. All right, man. And so you talked about the Ethan, and then did you talk about Deja Vu or Deja Poo?
I was saving that for you, my brother.
Woo! All right. Okay, so we're gonna be doing Deja Vu or Deja Poo. It's basically what each week we're gonna review the 2020 fantasy output of 4 players, or it might be a little more. We'll see how much poo's there, and and so 4 players from each position, and we'll discuss if they will repeat that performance in 2021. So I believe we did the quarterbacks and running backs already, so this is going to be wide receivers. So we're going to talk about wide receivers. And isn't there like a game being played tomorrow, dude? Yeah, we're filming this on Saturday, so
I think
I don't know. Ethan, is there a game or something like that?
I don't think the game is that important.
No, I think it's the weekend is having a concert.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can't film my face. Yeah, that dude. Yeah, I told my wife whenever that song first came out, I asked her, "Do you know?" She loved the song. It's a good song, and I said, "Do you know what that's about?" She says, yes. I said, what, honey? She says, well, it means like when you're having a good time with somebody and you're laughing so much that you can't feel your face because you're having such a good time. I'm like, well, I mean, you're having a good time, but no, it's about, about the no sugar, that's what it's about, so that was pretty funny. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about the big game. And so, all right, well, let's go ahead. And first of all, Ethan, welcome back. How about you talk about, introduce or give homage to the supporters of the show.
Yeah. All right. We'll start with High Volume Music Radio. The Amigo is actually sharing. We know that there's good music. We've told you about it all the time. But do you know the benefits to your pets of listening to High Volume Music Radio? Well, if you have a cat or a dog, let's say cat or a dog, and it's bound to some kind of crate because of an injury and it's recovering, a little anxious, got that separation anxiety going on, just put on some soul from High Volume Music Radio. It'll calm them right down. Isn't that right, amigo?
That's a really specific example, but yes, yeah. I have
experience.
If it works. But beyond being, replacement catnip, it's also a great place where you can listen to our program.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's, you get some really incredible shows. My Aunt Boogie, he does a really good job. He runs that radio station, so you get shows like Andrew B's Vocal Sounds, the Business Knowledge Broker Show, the Soul Brothers Show, What's on Your Mind with Aunt Boogie, and Blame It on the Boogie, man. Yeah. So, Connor, you know the slogan, so you help me out with it. If it ain't high volume,
it ain't loud enough.
Oh, look at you. You stuck the landing. Look at that, my brother. Why don't you go ahead and talk about the next one there, Connor?
So, for all supporters of the show, or for the new listeners, I bid you all to listen to me. Sports Hosts app is the premier global sports app out there. And guys, one of the things that's really cool about it is it has a very prolific user base. Everyone on there is always doing stuff. So just because, football's kind of towards the end of the year, it doesn't mean that people aren't going strong on there. Like we've said before, they do all types of sports on there. Cricket season's just about to start. I have no idea, but I'm gonna use Sports Host to find out when cricket season
starts. They race
starts.
crickets? Is that what it is? They race crickets?
No, you're thinking about that's a no.
I'm sorry, dude. Quarantine. I've been watching like a lot of like 80s war movies. So like in the prison camps, they always kind of
we have a separate app. We have a separate app for all the underground sports that take place in China.
Look at you! Look at you!
You're thinking about Sports Hosts Wuhan.
Well, it's actually, dude, the 80s was always Vietnam. It was always Vietnam.
I wonder why.
Well, I'm a recent bias.
It's just like how in the movie Bloodsport they had you remember the movie Enter the Dragon, right? Remember the guy that Bruce Lee has to fight? His name is Bolo, right?
Yeah, Bolo. Yeah.
So Bolo's Chinese, but in the movie in the movie Bloodsport, they make Bolo play a Korean guy because that movie was made during the Korean War. So they had the bad guy pretend to be Korean just to make the Koreans look bad. So
really? I mean, he looked pretty good to me, dude. I mean,
he looked awesome, but he's Chinese. He's not Korean. This is kind of like messed up,
Yeah, well, until Van Damme showed up. God, I wish Ethan. Do you know the name of his character? It was so cheeseball.
I do, but
say it.
Dukes,
say it.
Frank Dukes.
There you go, dude. I remember it was so cheesy. I just watched it. I just watched the Bloodsport because when it comes on, I mean, you have to watch it, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I love it how our show became an advertisement for Bloodsport. And while you're at it, guys, it's on Netflix right now. Check it out.
Hashtag not a sponsor, but that'd be awesome.
Hashtag Bloodsport.
Sponsored by Bloodsport. How about that, dude?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and what do you think, man? You think we should move on to the good news?
Yes.
Yeah, the good news, man. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. All right, so I have a few things here, dude, that we're going to talk about. So some of them, be stuff that we can just go ahead and run through real quick. But there's going to be something that we're going to have, at least one I know for a fact, a couple of them actually for that. We gonna need to talk about since we're here in H-Town. The Deshaun Watson saga. Oh my gosh, man. Last episode, we found out that Deshaun wanted out no matter what, since the Texans hired their new GM without consulting him. And then staying to true form for the Texans, who's turning out to be a difficult franchise to root for. They hired 65-year-old David Culley as their head coach. Without talking to Deshaun Watson, he spent the past 2 seasons as the assistant head coach, wide receiver coach, and passing game coordinator for the Ravens. And in his introductory press conference, he said that he wouldn't have taken the job unless he knew for a fact that Watson was going to be a Texan in 2021. Ethan, let's start with you. Thoughts?
I mean, I'll see the news, and then I don't know if it means anything, but I saw a tweet from Watson's agent, and it said a lot of people are saying a lot of stuff that I've never heard Watson say and that I've never said myself. So when I saw that, I thought, you know what? I don't know how much of this news, I don't know how much of it is just trying to create fodder for the news cycle and how much of it is actually legitimate. I understand why he wants out, though, so it wouldn't surprise me if he did. I know that I'm jumping a little ahead here, but we had some other news come down the pike over the last week that I think has massive implications for whether or not Watson's going to get traded.
Oh, hang on. If you're changing to a different player, let's
Yeah.
I know where you're going. How about this? I'll let you lead the story. I'll let you lead because I know where you're going, and that's definitely the next one in line. But I'm really curious to hear about what Connor has to say about Watson, mainly because he's the one that's been pushing. He's like, I've been like, if you've been watching the show, I've been the one being like, Watson, please don't go, but that's me, right? And Connor's like, all right, chance to rebuild, man. Let's see what we can get from him. Let's go. So Connor, this news, what's your thoughts about it, my brother?
Well, I specifically wore my D-Hop shirt today because I knew that it would come in handy.
Oh, that's vintage.
Yeah, it's vintage. So I'm going to use this to make this point. I still am of the opinion that Watson is mad because they got rid of this guy. I mean, how do you expect him to be happy if you take away his best weapon? I've lived in Houston my whole life, so I love the Texans. But objectively, I can understand why Watson would want to leave. And I do also think that you have to take the social media activity of these players seriously. Because, yes, the whole argument is, he has a bunch of really cryptic behavior on social media that could be taken as him wanting to leave the team, or it could be him quoting whatever, motivational song he's listening to in the gym while he's working out. There's no correlation, right? But I think that, all these players, that's what they grew up with, right? So that's his form of expressing himself. That's what he's seen, all his peers do. Maybe the players he looks up to that are a couple years older than him, they're doing that. So I do take it seriously when I see him say things like that. And I do think that the Texans are very quickly starting to earn a reputation as not necessarily being a racist organization, but I am. You know where I'm going with this. The fact that
not a place you want to go. Yeah,
not a place you want to go. Just the management.
Like it's kind of like, I don't know, man. Maybe some yakety sax action. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's becoming the Texans. Like, not a coach, not a player, not a defense or an offense, the whole organization.
Yeah, because
I think it starts and ends with the McNairs. I think that's the problem. All this really fired up with McNair saying the whole thing about the inmates running the prison, and it was just a downward spiral from there. And it's like with Cal McNair's, like, does the apple fall far from the tree? Doesn't look like it. So,
Connor, real quick, man. So you're talking about social media and pay attention to that now. In one swoop, all this stuff happens. So I want you to digest it, put this in your gut, digest it real quick,
okay,
and let's talk about it. So Deshaun's agent released a statement, like the doc was saying, he was saying, there's some stuff that I haven't heard of, but he did say that that Watson would not skip out on OTAs if he's still with the Texans. But Watson removed all Texan logos and anything Texans off every social media platform he owns or is part of. And Sports Illustrated's James Rapian reported that Watson is willing to sit out the 2021 season if he isn't traded. Now, since you talked about that social media is his way of expression, taking all that Texan logo stuff off, how do you digest that?
So right off the rip, when you said hold out, obviously we have talked about because of Mizio Bell, it is very hard for players to sit out a full season now because you get fined a lot. So I don't think Watson is sitting out the season. But yeah, I had heard about the social media. That was one of the main reasons why I brought that up. So I'm glad you brought that up. It doesn't bode well. Until I see otherwise, I am assuming that Watson is done here.
Okay, all right, Ethan, take us to the next one, man, because you were already kind of chomping at the bit for it. So I think I know where you're going. If you're not, then hey, we got a new news piece. But
Well, Part of
go
the
for it.
reason I think with this Deshaun Watson stuff is we focus so much on social media and all this other stuff, which you have just as much social media saying it was all made up as you do the cryptic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're forgetting the business aspect of this. All right. So we just saw the market set for middle of the road quarterbacks. All right. How much did the Rams have to give up in order to trade for Stafford? Okay. That just happened this week. Other news breaking into it. The Rams traded Jared Goff. What was it, 2 first-round picks or was it 3?
Is that what you wanted to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't. You know what? That's not what I was thinking. But hey, let's roll with it. It is on there. Let me go down to my notes on there. But yeah, I think it was actually they traded Matthew Stafford to L.A. for Jared Goff, 2 future first-round picks, and a third-round pick.
Yes. So 2 first-rounders, a third-rounder, and a quarterback for Matthew Stafford. So we have to think about what that means for setting the market. So the Texans see that and they're like, okay, that's the going rate for Matthew Stafford. So we want 3 first-round picks and a defensive star or something like that. And because of that, when I saw that transaction go through, I was like, that doesn't bode well for Watson getting out of the Texans because it set the market. Like it kind of reset it and it set a precedent. And you know the Texans, you know what? I could see them being idiots, but they were the butt of the joke in the NFL last year because of what they did with D-Hop. I don't see the new GM coming in repeating that same mistake personally. Now that Bill O'Brien's gone, I don't see that same mistake happening where they let Watson go for nothing.
Yeah, I could see that too, and that actually might have been a strategy for like the Rams, to try to trade that much to get Matthew Stafford to basically keep Watson on the Texans instead of putting him into a competitive.
That's brilliant, dude. I didn't even think about the strategy behind that.
Yeah. So
out of your division potentially.
Yeah, exactly.
The 49ers are a suitor.
Oh,
That's very
dude,
true.
yeah. Dude, it's not. I mean, there's been a lot of connections,
And the WTF as well, and
the Jets, Miami. I mean, so there's a lot of, there's a lot of places. But yeah, but as far as how it affects Detroit, yeah, it could. But staying on the Texans, the mood in the locker room. Or hang on, Connor, you have anything to say about that?
Selah.
Okay, all right. So the mood in the locker room after the Texans' last game on January 3rd was that J.J. Watt won't be coming back. Watt, has 1 year left on his contract, and the Texans can eliminate his entire $17.5 million cap hit for 2021 without any dead money in the future if they trade or release him. So what do you think, guys, think about Watt being a Texan in 2021?
I think there's much less of a chance of Watt being a Texan in 21 than Watson. And I think it's because with Watson, I mean, he's a fresh player. He's new. He just signed this fat contract a year ago versus Watt, who's at the end. Watt is older. And also, you know what? Personally, for me, I don't want either of them to leave. I like him. But I want Watt to get a chance to win a ring, and this organization ain't going to be there anytime soon. So personally, I think that there's a much bigger chance that Watt gets traded. And I also, as a Texan fan and a Watt fan, kind of am rooting for it, even though that sounds backwards. I want the guy to go play for a relevant team for a couple more years.
Yeah, man, I have to agree with you regarding Watson. I mean, Connor, you agree. You know how nice it is to win a ring, right? You know how nice that is, dude. So yeah, why wouldn't we want that for Watson? Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm thinking he's gone. Just real quick. I mean, because it just makes sense. It's a rebuilding team. If you're talking about Watson wanting to get a ring, how about Watt? You know, I mean, he deserves to land somewhere. I mean, the guy is all heart. You know, he kept the city of Houston going during through the whole Harvey thing. You know, I mean, so he was.
Watson could stick around for a couple more years and still, he isn't at the end of his career.
Mhm.
Watt is getting close.
Mhm.
It's already hard for him to make it through a whole season.
Well, yeah, and that's why he'd be perfect, like on a contender. You know, like somebody like Kansas City or something like that, or maybe well, no, Baltimore's stacked, so he probably never play, but New Orleans maybe. You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, yeah, so he deserves a shot in my opinion, and New Orleans makes sense because he could stay in the South and be close enough to Houston.
Well, the
And I,
Bears, he can be with his wife.
where?
The Bears, Chicago.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh no, oh Chicago. Connor's little dinky went up just then. Yeah, having a massive Chicago Bears defense again. But okay, but Connor. So moving on here, Connor, I'm going to throw this at you. If you have something to say, great. You know the drill. The Rams. Jordan Rodriguez of the Athletic wrote that the Rams are unlikely to bring back Malcolm Brown. Thoughts on that, man?
Makes me very excited as a Cam Akers truther.
Awesome. Ethan, any thoughts on that news?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of a fan of Akers before this season. He was one I liked, and he, last half of the season started to break out. If they don't bring Malcolm Brown back, it means that they're confident that they got something in Akers. So I think that's his draft capital will go up.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, we talked about Connor and I on the previous shows about watching the playoffs, even though like the fantasy season is over, still watching and taking notes because Cam Akers kind of started in the playoffs showing that he's the lead back, and that's something that if you stopped watching football like halfway through the season or when the season ended, you just kind of just left it alone, saying you wanted to take a break away from it, you would miss that little tidbit of information. And now they have Matthew Stafford, who likes to throw to his running back, and Cam Akers is a pass catching running back. So
their pass catching running back is no longer on the team.
Yeah. So it looks like Cam Akers is going up and up and up and up and up. So something to keep an eye on.
Breaking news: the Rams have signed Adrian Peterson.
Only after the draft.
Right,
after the draft.
Yes.
Yeah, after the
no, not after. Draft. Yeah, not after the NFL draft. After the fantasy football draft. That's how Sean McVay.
After our fantasy.
Yes.
Dude, you remember my Arsenal analysis of it that I tried to do the whole okey doke with the Detroit running backs, and I had it set up. It was perfect, and then here comes Peterson, and just screwed up my whole, two of my rounds right there. Man.
So is a rule for fantasy that you can always start Adrian Peterson the first week of the season?
Seems like it, dude. Seems like it for now, like infinity.
That's what I did in 2018, and it worked.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You rolled the league, dude. The beginning of that league of that season, you were like putting up on the regular, like over like Kamara was putting up like over 40 points, like for a month. It was just sick, dude.
I've never seen anything that beautiful.
From one side, from one side only. From the other side, it was horrifying. Yeah. Okay, so I want to get y'all guys' opinions on this. Okay, we were talking about Matthew Stafford. He said that whenever it was time for him to just, real quick, I wanted to throw out there because I thought this was interesting. That he told Detroit to send him to any other team whenever they were seeking out trades other than New England. And when they asked him, they said it was due to winter weather in an outdoor environment, lack of offensive stars, and a no days off mantra, and it would reunite him with Matt Patricia, who's reportedly returning to New England. Yeah. So
where's that backwards? Yeah,
dude. I mean, thoughts on that, guys?
Just makes sense.
Yeah. Shows how unhappy he was.
The Patriot way has lost its aura. now that Brady went to the Bucks and is back in the Super Bowl, and the Patriots didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, didn't even close. Connor, uh, add your thoughts to add this one little thing to your thoughts here. Apparently, New England has her sights set on free agent Marvin Jones Jr. So thoughts on Stafford not wanting to be reunited with Patricia, and Marvin Jones going to New England.
Matthew Stafford not wanting to be reunited. I mean, that's like having like, you know, a really bad coach and then not wanting to play with him. Oh wait, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Marvin Jones seems like a good player though, so that might be interesting to see in New England.
Just depends on who's going to be throwing the ball next year in New England.
We have no idea.
Right. It's a mystery. And let's see here. Well, just this is going to be just real quick. I'll throw it to you, Connor, since you're a pro at this. The Packers are letting the contract expire on their defensive coordinator, Mike Pettine. So any thoughts on that?
I guess Pettine isn't for the team.
There we go. And let me do the same question to you, Ethan. Let me see if you're going to be that quick. All right. So the Packers are letting the contract expire on the DC Mike Pettine. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, I don't have anything on that.
Pettine will no longer rock the yellow and green. He's moving on to a new team. Can we keep it moving?
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Reports are last one.
I wasn't going to do Ryan. That's what Connor already did. I felt like I did.
Yeah, come on.
Last one. Doc, go and get your first crack at this. Reports are the Phillies getting aggressive offers for Carson Wentz, and a trade may be close. Then yesterday, the Colts GM Chris Ballard stated that there's no trade going down today. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's obvious that the Colts are going to be in the market for a quarterback. And with Carson Wentz, maybe it's like they think, oh, if we have a better O-line than they did in the Eagles. With a better O-line, Carson Wentz will have more time. You know, he'll be a better quarterback in that instance. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, there's just a lot going on. Didn't they fire the head coach? Didn't they let him go?
Well, yeah.
A couple weeks back, which is just like the guy took them to a Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. It's like fair weather, like sucks. So I don't really know what's going on in Philly. Honestly, I have no read on that situation because I don't see them necessarily needing to rebuild or retool or any of that. They have a severe O-line problem that needs to be fixed.
So, Connor, do you think Carson Wentz to Indy is a good thing?
I think it could be. I think it depends on Wentz's health.
Yeah. But playing in a dome might help.
Playing in a dome with a good line would be much better than playing in Philly with a bad one.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. On that. All right. Well, that is the. Did I miss anything on the news, guys?
I think we're good.
Hey, look at you. Okay, well, let's move on to Deja Vu or Deja Poo, wide receivers. All right, so again, we're going to go and talk about these players, and basically, I'm just going to go and pass it back and forth. I'll start with Connor. You do one, then I'll.
I like to pass it back and forth.
Yes, something. Man. Come on, Maverick. Come on. Come on. Be classy, man. Yeah. Be the one that threw the dog tags into the ocean. Be that guy. All right. So, okay. So we're going to talk about blah, blah, blah. Okay. Here we go. First one. Connor, Michael Thomas. All right. Let's talk about him, dude.
God. I don't think it's hard to do better than he did this year. I don't think it's hard. He did so bad.
Yeah. So, but do you think it's going to be the same next year?
I mean, look, he had some decent games with Voldemort Streaks Alive under quarterback. And
well, thank you. I'm glad you got it in there, but yeah, you knew I was going to tee it up.
But I liked it. No, I like the Patriots. I have little idea what they're doing at quarterback. I don't know if they're going to do Taysom or Jameis.
Yeah, I know that. Like, if you look at like the stock of Winston, it's really like it's shot through the roof. Like as far as like so I think Dynasty people are really going after him. Yeah. So, but and we talked about that regarding Kamara. How that's going to affect Kamara. So yeah, that's there is a trail down there. Uh, so the next one. Deja vu or deja vu. So is it going to be was it going to be a good year or is it going to be a poopy
Well,
year?
okay. So before we continue, so by the way that this works is he has to do better than the output that he did last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think he can do better than he did this year.
Okay. So,
Deja
all
vu.
right. So okay, there you go. Okay, or not a deja vu. Well, you got it, dude. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So okay, so he's gonna do better. Awesome. All right. So Ethan, Stephon Diggs. Okay. So, he was awesome this year. But Josh Allen, is that breakout real? And now and Beasley and John Brown will be healthy. So will they be stealing more targets? From Diggs? Do you see Diggs being like one of the top three wide receivers next year? Deja vu, deja vu.
I'm going to say I don't see him necessarily doing worse. There's no reason for me to believe it because Diggs, I believe it was one of the last games of the fantasy season where Brown and Beasley were in, and he lit it up.
But they were
Right?
injured. Yeah, they were injured though. They're like they're
Yeah, I know,
guilty.
but there was a game towards the end of the year where they were both in. Is what I'm saying, and I believe that was the championship week where Diggs was the one who maybe pushed you over the top. John Brown and Beasley were in that game.
Thank you, Stephon Diggs. Yeah.
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 What I'm saying is I think Diggs is lineup proof unless there's some kind of acquisition over the course, right? But I think one important thing to look at is that if you look at like his touchdown numbers compared to some of the other top wide receivers, Devontae Adams doubled his touchdown rate. Tyreek Hill had 7 more touchdowns than him. Calvin Ridley, guys under him on the list had more touchdowns than him. So I think it's safe to assume it's possible that he gets more touchdowns next year. You see a positive regression. So I haven't seen anything to think no, because Josh Allen didn't get worse as the year went on either. He still showed up, and they put up a good fight against an amazing Kansas City team in the playoffs. So I haven't seen any reason to believe Josh Allen's going to fall off. He did what he did with a truncated training camp and no preseason, no time to even mesh with Diggs.
No run game.
And no run game, exactly. But honestly, adding a run game could hurt Diggs because if they're running the ball more, they're slowing down the tempo, drives take longer, they're not airing it out as much. Mm-hmm. So if I see there's some things that can happen to make me change my mind, but as of now, if things remain relatively the same, deja vu for Diggs.
Okay. All right. Okay. Those are some really really solid points. All right. Okay. And Connor, DK Metcalf. Okay, we all know that
on this one.
Yeah, that he had a breakout. Yeah, I knew that DK would be a good one for you, man. So he is. We all know what kind of year he had this year. But next year he will have a new offensive coordinator, and the head coach has already said that they want to be more of a run-first offense. So thoughts?
Yeah, it looks like the Seahawks tried the whole letting Russ cook thing, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't have an O-line." Then Pete Carroll was like, "Yeah, well, I still don't want to get one. Let's go back to running the ball 80 times."
Yeah.
Don't you need no line to run the ball?
Exactly. Not if you do that stupid formation where you just bring in an extra offensive lineman. Instead of having 5 good linemen, you just use 6 mediocre linemen.
Hey, look at you.
No, I think that DK is getting too big for his britches. In a recent interview, he already said he's the best wide receiver in the league. Pride comes before the fall. Deja vu is in store for DK.
Hot take, Maverick. All right.
I love that you're saying that, Connor.
Right? No shit, right? Yeah, I'm right there with you. Doc, AJ Brown. He was hurt bad enough that he could have been ruled out for the season in week 2. He's on an offense that's a run-first offense with Derrick Henry. Corey Davis might not be back, and Jonnu Smith will be healthy. So next year, AJ Brown, yeah, right. Maybe it's a big, well, we're hopeful. We're a hopeful show. Yeah.
I think he's going to be a top 12. If that means deja vu, then yes. Because, I mean, if he did what he did this year with 2 bum knees, because he's getting like some surgery on both of his knees, man, that dude can ball, and he's got a great quarterback, and you got to honor Henry. You got to honor the run, and what that means is it opens up downfield for A.J. Brown, which I think one thing we assumed this year that didn't come to fruition is how throw happy they would be with the Titans. Mm-hmm. They threw the ball, and Tannehill put up some major points when we thought it was going to be the Henry show.
Yeah, I dropped him early. If you remember, I dropped Tannehill because I had Henry, and I was like, can't have one both. But yeah, they actually can live together. You just got to be patient.
So I say deja vu for A.J. Brown.
Okay. All right. Okay. And Connor, this one I think is kind of neat where, so this one's more on the poo side. Okay. Those were all on the VU side. Okay. Except for Thomas, but you know what I'm talking about. So this is going to be like a tandem. It's more of a wide receiver team, which is DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson.
Oh God.
All right. So Carolina said they're aggressively pursuing Watson, and they were also one of the teams that are tied to Stafford. So it seems that Bridgewater isn't their guy. Now, we saw the tendencies of Bridgewater, who he favored or looked like he favored, and what he can do, what he can't do. So with all that information I just threw at you, dude, DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson kind of cannibalized each other. Is there going to be the same next year, or one's going to have a good year and the other one will have a deja vu, or what do you think?
I think the biggest part to this equation is the guy. It's not even the 2 guys that we're talking about. It's the guy we're not talking about, which is Curtis Samuel, because it wasn't just DJ Moore and Robbie cannibalizing each other. It was all 3 guys cannibalizing each other.
And no McCaffrey, too.
Yeah, no McCaffrey. So there was no McCaffrey, who is the number 1 wide receiver on that team when he's healthy. He's also the number 1 running back on the team when he's healthy.
Yeah.
So? I would say that Watson would target Robbie more. Robbie seems to be sending healthy Will Fuller vibes, so I would like to see that.
Okay, so you think that they're depending? So you're saying, okay, if somehow Watson lands in Carolina, then Anderson, Mr. Anderson is going to be, he's going to be up. He's going to be an awesome year, but Moore will have a poo year. So everything that you've been seeing, you're talking about is poo on Moore, more poo.
I think Moore could still have a serviceable season, but okay. I think he would be putting up wide receiver 2 numbers.
Okay, so you're talking about more like mid, like in a fantasy football draft. You're talking about mid to low rounds.
Yeah, because he would just disappear. I mean, I know Robbie disappeared too because Robbie had a really good start to the season, and then he kind of near the end.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. Good. Yeah. But all of those, but temper your expectations because McCaffrey will be back and
McCaffrey.
Yeah, and you have Samuel, so it might be a good offense to invest in just in general. Yeah, as far as wide receiver goes, definitely on running back.
Yeah, but Anderson should still be cheaper than Moore.
Yeah. I could see Anderson maybe even being like, getting him on the pool type thing. Yeah. So the last one I'll lead to you, Doc. Since it's just worked out this way, it's landing perfectly on you. So we're going to talk about the junior, DJ Shark Jr. Yeah, he has a new head coach, a new quarterback, and he's going to be presumably healthy. And the question is, how's that going to work, and can he explode with James Robinson there?
I think the bigger question beyond James Robinson is the quarterback situation. Mm-hmm. That is undeniably the question.
You already know who they're going to get. They got the first pick of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, people are speculating whether they're going to do a wild card move and go, somewhere else.
This isn't the Texans. We're like, we have somebody really good, and guess what? Mario Williams. Oh, you didn't see that coming. You
never know, man. Urban Myers. But we've seen amazing rookie quarterbacks come in and sustain wide receivers. Like we saw it with Justin Herbert. We saw it with for the quick time in Cincinnati. So I think it's possible. And Chark was struggling with injuries throughout the year. He didn't have a consistent quarterback the entire year. It was obvious that they were not really in it, right? They were in rebuild mode. So because of how bad Chark finished, I would say next year is going to be an improvement.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Of course, upon their new quarterback staying healthy.
Yeah. Well, and also him. Like, I mean, this will be his second year that he didn't finish the season, right? Is that correct? Yeah. So there's a little concern about that.
You know, it also could be one of those situations where it's like he's not doing too great. Why are we going to put our number one out there, putting his body out on the line when we're not even trying to even do anything this year?
Yeah, I hear you, dude. I hear you. All right, good points, man. Good points overall. Good points overall. Yeah, I give you 1,000 points each. You know yeah. Whose line is it anyway?
Points made up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on. You know what, Doc? I'll give you the choice. It's up to you. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to talk about the Super Bowl, or do you want to talk about your Arsenal analysis?
Well, why don't we do the Arsenal analysis real quick, and then just do our predictions for the Super Bowl?
I think that's fantastic, sir, and that's why I passed it to you. Great thinking. All right, so let's go ahead and do the Arsenal analysis for Ethan. Yeah, we haven't had him, so now it's his turn. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So Ethan, talk it over. So just go and start with what you have, and then what you drafted, and then why you did it. Just real quick, and then we'll talk about what you ended up with.
Yeah, so this was probably the third draft that I was a part of that year. So I had done a couple drafts by that time. I really wanted to do a draft where I went running back. I wanted to try that out. I wanted to try that approach, get really stacked. But for the first three drafts that I was in, by the time it came around to me in that third round, there weren't really any running backs that were, to me, worth it. So this went the other way.
Yeah.
I had the first pick, McCaffrey. I don't think anyone here is going to – we know it didn't end up great, right?
It would have been. But, dude, let's talk about that real quick. Just let me throw in there real quick, just 2 seconds. He was a great pick because you knew exactly who to pick up whenever he wasn't playing. And then when he did play, he got you big numbers. So that was not a bad pick, just unfortunate.
And what I did is I added together what McCaffrey did and what Davis did for the year to count them as one running back. And I think it was like running back RB 10 or 9. And if you get that, if you're in the top 10, you're happy.
That won you games, and that got you in the playoffs. Absolutely.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And the second and third pick, my third pick was great, I think, because Aaron Jones was spectacular. To pick him up with the 21st pick in the draft, and I believe he ended up running back 5 on the year.
Very consistent.
Running back 5, very consistent. Now, my other pick for running back was not great. Miles Sanders did not work out well. The dude, pretty much what he did was if he had a game where he popped off a 75-yard touchdown run, he had a good week. Otherwise, nothing great. I think he finished Miles Sanders was an RB2. He finished running back 21 on the year, which is not great for a second-round pick. So my personal opinion on that, not so great. Then, unfortunately, it pains me to say.
It was the O-line. The pick was good. You invested in the talent and the opportunity. I think you made a good decision.
And you trusted your guy because that was your guy.
Yeah,
dude.
I did some wonderful things for me at the end of the year before.
Dude. Just the O-line, and I think if it's not going to be, anyway, keep going. I don't beat yourself up on it.
And so because I was the first pick, I had my picks in succession, right? So when I had a pick, I had 2 in a row. So the next turn,
tell that farmer I said God bless you. Yeah. Farmer in the next room.
You should get some power behind that.
Dude, I expect her to be shot across the little before that door.
I was walking back to our apartment, and I was 100 feet down the hallway, and I heard, yeah. I'm I walked in did you see? She's like, yeah. I'm like, what the? But anyways, all right.
I expect her to be blasting across shoo. Yeah.
4th and 5th round. This is when I picked up Chark and Ridley back to back. That was going to be my wide receiver 1 and 2. Obviously, Chark didn't pan out, but Ridley was a great value to pick up.
Yes.
Not quite as good as Diggs level value, but Calvin Ridley did finish fourth, right behind Stephon Diggs. So that was a good pickup.
Agreed.
Then, this pick hurts. It's embarrassing.
No,
it does. No, Devontae Parker, man, that's embarrassing. You know why it's embarrassing? You know who went a couple picks after Devontae Parker?
Stephon Diggs.
Yes, I know. And that would have been my wide receiver 3. Yeah.
Stephon Diggs, yes.
But then I'm proud of this pick because it ended up, we know that Kittle and Kelsey are going to be great. Is there going to be a third tight end? Who is it going to be? I found him. Darren Waller, 7th round pick. That was a great pick up.
I was wrong on that one, dude. I really thought that Waller was not going to do well this year. I was fucking wrong on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I liked that pick. Then once again, came back around to me. These next 2 picks did not end up great. Cortland Sutton had injury problems throughout the year. Also had a Drew Lock problem throughout the year.
Dude, I really think that was a good pick. It was just unfortunate what happened to Denver. Okay, because Von Miller got knocked out, so that messed up the defense. So, the offense was out there longer than it should, and of course, Cortland Sutton got hurt. I think that Connor can attest. He had Cortland Sutton 2 years ago, and he did really well towards the end of the year, enough to where Connor was really, really high on Sutton. So I think that was a good pick, dude. It's just bad luck.
Yeah, Drew Brees not a great pick. I wanted to pick up Josh Allen, but he went right before I had the chance to do that pick, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He was my guy, and I didn't get him in any leagues because everyone picked him up way earlier than I thought he would go, unfortunately.
Gotta love it.
That's how
it's going to go higher next year. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. But I still think, no, we can talk about this in another episode. Drew Brees, I didn't know he was going to – every time he threw the ball, he looked broken. Like from the beginning of the year, it was like I think I started him once and then immediately pivoted because Brees just didn't – don't know any better, but I thought it was a value where I picked him up in the 9th round, but he did not finish. He was – quarterback 21. Of course, he was injured through a large portion of the year. But when he came back, he just didn't look the same.
Yeah.
No,
I'm right there with you. Yeah, because you said he looked broken, then he actually was broken. So.
Yes.
All right.
Something like that. And this is one of I think the best pick of the draft for me, Antonio Gibson at the 10th round. It just worked out well. It was right before the Adrian Peterson news, so I was lucky that happened. And then I picked up Boston Scott as a handcuff for Miles Sanders, which honestly didn't work out well. I would have been better off when Miles Sanders was out, putting Gibson in instead or something like that. So the handcuff thing, man, it's a gamble because it worked out great for Mike Davis and Christian McCaffrey, but then with Alexander Madison for Dalvin Cook or Boston Scott for Miles Sanders, didn't really pan out the way you thought.
No, not at all. But given the preseason hype and how Boston Scott ended, like that last playoff game he did 2 years ago, how could you not? That's what made you worried about Sanders. That's why, like Sanders was falling, and you were able to get him in the bottom of the 2nd round was because of Boston Scott. So I think you're good with that. Okay. I wouldn't beat myself up with it.
And then I did Deebo Samuel and the Kansas City Chiefs. Deebo Samuel, my thing with him was pick him up, stick him on the IR, wait for him to come back, and you got a potential wide receiver 2. Didn't really pan out. The dude still struggled with injuries, and he did well until it became evident that Brandon Ayuk was the alpha.
But also, dude, again,
and the quarterback situation.
Bad luck. Yes, quarterback situation. Bad luck.
And the defense, just everyone getting injured. Yeah.
And the run, the running off, there was not really a good run game, so that always affects the wide receiving game, So yeah, dude, it was bad luck, man.
I think Kansas City defense worked out decently well for me. I mean, I picked them up there were quite a few defenses already picked up at that point, and I still ended up with a top 10 defense.
Yep.
At least as a finish.
Yep.
And then 14 and 15, I picked up Cam Newton in the 14 pick. And I will say he sucked for the majority of the year, but there were a couple weeks, man, where he won me that week.
Dude, like
as long as he got his 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, the first month or two, of the season, he was pretty good.
Yeah, it was obvious that Brady stole most of Belichick's magic beans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Belichick used what little beans he had left in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Young Hoku was a good pick. Yeah. So who did you end up with?
What do you mean?
Like that was your start of the season. What was the end of the season? What did your team look like at the end of the season?
Like how many guys that you drafted did you have?
There you
go. Okay, all right. Brady.
Thank you, Connor.
I had Tom Brady and Tannehill at quarterback.
Okay.
Calvin Ridley, still kept him. Kept Aaron Jones, Antonio Gibson, Darren Waller, Miles Sanders. I had Mike Davis. That's pretty much Christian McCaffrey, right?
Yeah, because that was a very soon move after.
Not like in terms of output, but I just switched out the same guy from the same team, right?
He's like the fat version of McCaffrey.
I kept DJ Chark, who actually had a decent game. His last game of the season, well, not like fantasy football season, against Chicago of all teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
I ended up with DJ Moore at some point. I think there was a trade that happened between y'all two. He got dropped, and I just grabbed him just to have him on my bench.
We don't need to talk about how you got there.
Yeah, as well.
Just like we don't need to talk about how Young Hoku ended up on Connor's roster. We don't need to talk about that either. Yeah.
Vulture. Boston Scott still had him. I did end up with D. Carlson, which at least in the last week of the season scored better than Koo. So I can at least hang my hat on that. Then for defense, the defense that I had at the end of the season, I dropped Kansas City because they had a tough end of the season, and I was rolling with Washington, which ended up being, let's see here, where were they on the ranking? I'll pull them up. They were the 6th.
Wow. So you kept eight of your players, eight of your drafted players. You kept them, and that 8 out of 15. That's pretty good. You and Connor, both of you guys kind of held steady on the majority of your lineup. I was the only Yahoo that was like just I'm gonna pass him. I was swimming through to just.
Yeah, but who won? Hanging out on that, right?
But dude, I dropped good shit. Like, DeAndre Swift, that was a bad drop. Ryan Tannehill turned out to be a bad drop. I owned Tom Brady, bad drop. I drafted Tom Brady, so
okay, that's but who did you end up with? Who were your quarterbacks at the end of the year?
Well, Justin Herbert and, Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah. So in other words, you had the number 2 quarterback and the number 9 quarterback.
Details. My point is, dude, is like, you held strong, which is pretty cool. That you guys had faith in your players, and on lots of time, it paid off. All right, so let's go ahead and let's just do our real quick Super Bowl predictions and then land this plane, my brother. All right, so Connor, real quick, dude, you're really actually no, you're really good at this, so we're saving you till last. Let's go with who's the biggest knucklehead. This guy. Yeah, I'm the one who's terrible at these things. Yeah, this really was from the grace of God. This was not from here. This was from the Lord. Yeah. And so was this. No, okay. So I'm rooting for Tom Brady to win. I want Tampa Bay to win, mainly not because I like Tom Brady or Tampa Bay or anything like that. It's just I like history. And I like the fact of that this is the first time ever, because you always wonder, like, what would it be like to be the hosting city, and your team is the one that goes to the Super Bowl. Yeah, we had the Super Bowl like 2 or 3 times here, and each time I was like, man, maybe the Texans, and how awesome would that be? You always hope, and then of course Texan, and whatever. Point is that the dream was recognized. Manifest destiny happened over there in Tampa Bay, and so I want to see it completed. I love Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that Brady is going to be good for a little bit longer, but Patrick Mahomes should win more Super Bowls past this, or at least go to more Super Bowls past this one. So I think it would be cool to watch history in the making. Watch Tampa Bay win, not Tom Brady, Tampa Bay win while hosting. I think that would just be pretty cool. It'd be so 2020,
It'd be very
So,
2020.
yeah. So Ethan, so I'm thinking Tampa Bay is going to win. It's going to be let's make it a good game because it's going to be a lot of weather. It's going to be a lot of weather. So let's make them they win by a field goal. Let's say by 3 points. Let's say that, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of want Tampa Bay to win for a different reason, a more vindictive reason. I hate the Patriots. I would love for Tom Brady to leave the Patriots, go to another team, win the Super Bowl, and the Patriots didn't even make the playoffs.
Okay.
That is like the biggest middle finger to Bill Belichick in the Patriot way that could possibly manifest itself.
Mhm.
That I really like. But you know what? On the other side, I also love Patrick Mahomes. I think he's like a solid dude. He's a lot of fun to watch play. I think he deserves a back-to-back, right? To start cementing his legacy. So honestly, it is truly one of those Super Bowls where I just want to watch a good game.
Mm-hmm.
As for, I've heard a lot of people, there was someone at times like, well, I always tell you defenses win championships, man. So Tampa Bay is going to win it. I'm like, well, you're sleeping on the Kansas City defense, which is pretty dang good itself. All right. Like, what did they do to one of the most high-powered offenses in the league last 2 weeks ago? Man, they didn't shut them down, but the game was well in hand by like the third or fourth quarter. And Josh Allen was, I think, just a bit more dangerous than Tom Brady is this year, at least if you look at his stats.
Now, Willie Gay, the linebacker for the Chiefs, and Eric Fisher are going to be out, which is an offensive tackle for Kansas City. So that defense is going to take a little bit of a hit with being, well, they're not going to be pro gay anymore. And then Fisher, that's an offensive line guy. So,
Yeah. Okay. So I was assuming Kansas City at full strength. I guess if they have these issues, I don't know. I'm leaning towards the Tampa Bay pulling it off, but I honestly don't have any prediction on who can win it. I'm sorry. I'm not good at those. But
you have to call it, dude. Just call it.
I'm gonna make the most outlandish call that you could possibly make.
Yeah.
Without actually believing this is gonna happen, but seeing a possibility. Kansas City is gonna win and have the game in hand well before the game's over.
Okay, so Kansas City?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's Kansas City like in the third quarter, like the beginning.
I would say Kansas City, but like at least 2 scores, so 10 to 14 points.
Wow. Okay. Connor, break the tie.
I also think it's going to be Kansas City, but I see this one as being a shootout. From an analytic perspective, every game in the postseason this season, Brady's team has put up at least 30 points. They have scored 31 points against WTF, 30 against the Saints, and 31 against the Packers. Now, I would argue that out of all of those defenses, probably WTF is the best. You guys would agree with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Saints, that's kind of, but both of those teams have a good pass rush, which is something that, if you put Brady on his ass, you have a chance of winning. And the last time the Bucs played the Chiefs, I don't know if you guys remember this, two things happened. Brady threw a lot of picks, and Tyreek Hill had 400 yards and 8 touchdowns that game. I'm joking. He had 3 touchdowns and like 250 yards, which is less, but it's still ridiculous because the Bucs don't have good cornerbacks. So I think this game is going to be really close, but I agree with the doc. I think that Mahomes is going to Mahomes, and what I will say is if Brady wins, I think it's a lot more feasible that he retires, but if he loses, I think he's going to keep playing because that's how Brady is. He's going to try to get his 7th Super Bowl.
All right. Okay, sweet. So you're saying by how much?
I'm taking the over. It's a 56-point over-under, so I'm taking the Chiefs to win, but I think it's going to be close. It could be decided by as little as 1 point.
Oh, look at that, dude. All right, so I might be right. We'll see. Well, he's by the point spread. All right, cool. All right, so that's gonna be fun. We'll see what happens. So 2 for KC, 1 for Tampa Bay. So it makes interesting radio or YouTubing, whatever you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. But speaking of which, if you are watching us on the YouTube, Doc, what should they do if they enjoyed watching 3 generational beefheads bantering about?
Like the video, then subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you get alerts whenever we release content.
Excellent, excellent. And Connor, why don't you say "I love you" to all of our supporters?
I love you.
Okay, what's your name? The supporters of the show.
Look, I want to take this time to thank Brock, Soshil, Zach. I mean, we have a lot of guys subscribed to this show. You gotta love them all, man.
All 3 of those guys.
All 3 of those guys. We have 10 subscribers. I'm sorry I don't know all of your names.
No, I'm talking about like our sponsors, Honky. Come on, dude. Not our
Phrase
exact
it
deal.
better. Phrase it better. You know I'm the
Okay.
maverick. Okay, sports hosts. I got it. Sports hosts. Download the app. Download the link below.
Okay, sports host and who else, dude? Go for it.
High volume music radio.
Yes. If it ain't high volume, it ain't loud enough. The Pride is Sunny Side. Make sure to download that. All right, Connor. And again, what's the name of your book, dude?
You know too much.
All right, available on Amazon. So make sure and download that. You'll be happy that you did. Parting shots, Doc. Why don't you start us off?
This is not the time to stop paying attention. This is when a lot of stuff happens that can, equip you well for the next fantasy football season. So pay attention to the news, the coaching changes, the personnel changes, everything, because it all has massive implications for this upcoming year.
Yeah. Connor, parting shot.
Carpe diem.
What?
Seize the day. I'm agreeing with Doc. You got to stay. See, I caught you off guard.
No, I thought you were doing it like FADM. I was like, what's FADM?
No, carpe diem.
I thought you were doing it, a millennial thing.
One of those new millennial things where you talk in abbreviations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of those thingies. Yeah, so no, carpe diem. Yeah, good. That's always a good one. Yeah, that's better than stay water like you keep doing all the time.
I wanted to mix it up on you. I wanted to see.
I see that. I see that. And my parting shot is, it's the Super Bowl. Enjoy this game. This is it. This is the last football we're gonna get. The last suckle on the teat of sports. Of the
Depends
gridiron.
on which teat you're suckling.
So enjoy it. Because the long winter of no football will be upon us next week. So enjoy every moment of it. Just do it safe, do it responsible. Be smart. I know it's a Super Bowl, but make sure you social distance, wear a mask, all that nice stuff.
Yeah, but if you win a bet, you can break all those protocols.
On behalf of
It's
Ethan,
not the Rock. Jump into the Maverick.
on behalf of Ethan, the Doc Marshall, and Connor, the Gut Marshall, and me, your humble MC, Brian the Amigo Baldwin, we want to thank you for watching. We hope that, of course, this year is a damn sight better than the last year. And Ethan, you're back. So why don't you help me out with the ending of the tagline? Remember, everyone, in fantasy football, as in life.
Don't dream it.
Yeah. All right. See y'all next week.
Can we get that again?
I love it.
Yeah.